Okay guys, for this demo video, we're going to learn how to use two-point linear perspective to create the optical illusion of 3D objects on a 2D surface. So for this activity, you're going to need your pencil, an eraser, a ruler, or that straight edge that I provided in the packet, and then you're going to have several pieces of newsprint paper. I'm using white paper just because it shows up better in the video. But you're going to grab a piece of newsprint paper and you're going to fold it in half so that you have four sides to work on. So stop the video now, go grab those materials and come back. All right. So two-point perspective is actually a very simple drawing technique, and there's really only two rules to it. And if you know the two rules and you always draw it in order, it's always going to work. So at the top of the paper, rule number 1, right? I want you to write the top and bottom edges of everything in your drawing, right, recedes to the VPs, or your vanishing points. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to establish our vanishing points. Anytime we're doing linear perspective, the very first thing we're going to draw is the horizon line. So I'm going to place my ruler in the center of the paper, and I'm not going to draw the entire thing just to save myself having to erase it later, but I am going to draw the first 2 inches on the left. I'm going to do a dotted line through the center of the paper and the last 2 or 3 inches on the right. So there's my horizon line. That's where the sky and the ground are going to meet. Okay. On the left edge of the paper, you're going to make a dot and you're going to label it LVP for left vanishing point. And on the right side of the paper, you're going to make a mark and put RVP for right vanishing point. Okay, so for this exercise, we're going to draw a cube, a 3D cube, above, on, and below the horizon line. So the steps for this, and then you're going to write this down as well. This is going to be kind of your instruction, illustrated instruction that you can go back and reference, okay? So step number 1 is that you always draw the corner of the object closest to you first. So pause the video now if you need to do that, to write that down. Okay, so we're going to do the cube above the horizon line. So anytime there's 2 vanishing points, we're going to see a left side and a right side of the object, right? So I'm going to take my ruler, and you're just going to draw these steps with me. Pause when you need to. But there's the corner of the cube closest to me first. Okay. Step 2 is that you connect top and bottom edges to both VPs. So I'm going to take the top and the bottom of that vertical corner, and I'm going to line it up with the LVP, and I'm going to draw it over, and then I'm going to do a dotted line for however large I want that side to be. I'm going to do the top left edge, and you always want to make sure that it is going directly to, that it's touching the vanishing point, because even just being a little bit off can make it look weird. Okay, so there's my top and bottom left edges. Now I'm going to do the same thing going all the way over to the right with the RVP. And again, the dotted lines are just to show you visually how those connect. Bottom right edge. Okay, so there's my top and bottom edges. Step number 3 is that the left and right edges of the object run parallel with the corner closest to you. All right, the left and right edges of the object run parallel with the corner closest to you. So my left side and my right side run parallel with that edge closest to us. So I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to make sure that it's not tilted this way, or it'll look like your box is unfolding. There's my left side of the box. Again, I'm making sure that the ruler runs parallel with the corner. So there's the left, the right. Now the last thing we need to show is the underneath side of the cube, right? And anytime anything is above our line of vision, we can see underneath. So now the last step is that you're going to connect the left and right edges or sides to the opposite VPs. Okay, so I'm in the bottom left corner of my cube. This is where I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to line up that bottom left corner with my RVP and draw that back edge. Okay, and then I'm going to take my bottom right corner and I'm going to connect it with the opposite VP over here to the LVP. And that's going to tell us where that farthest corner underneath intersects. Right there. We have no way of knowing where this is going to line up with that without using those opposite vanishing points. So there's the bottom of the cube. Easy peasy. All right, now we're going to do a cube on the horizon line. And this one's even easier than that one. It is simply steps 1 through 3. Okay? These are your buildings, if you will, right? This can now become a balcony, it can become a stairwell, it could become a sign on a building in your cityscape. So for the cube on the horizon line, I'm going to draw the corner closest to me first. It's going to go through the horizon line here, right? So the bottom corner has to be underneath that original horizon line. Step 2 says connect the top and bottom edges to the VPs. So here is my bottom left edge. Here's my top left edge. Okay. Bottom right edge. Top right edge. And then step 3 says that the sides, the left and the right side of the cube runs parallel with the corner closest to you. So there's the left and the right side of the 3D cube. And if you want, you can erase those extra lines out in the center there, just so it doesn't become confusing. Now we don't see the underneath side or the top of the cube because it is eye level with us as the viewer. For the last cube, same steps, right? The placement of the cube on the paper has nothing to do with the order of the steps, so it's always the same order. So for this one, I'm going to draw the corner closest to me first. Make it however tall or short you want. Maybe try some different sizes. Step 2, connect the top and bottom edges to the vanishing points. And you always want to do it in order, right? We don't know where the back edges are until we do the top and bottom edges. That's where things can start to look a little weird. And if it helps, you could even number these, right? This is step number 1. These are step number 2. Step 3, the left and the right side run parallel with this corner here. So there's the left side. Here's the right side. Now, because this cube is below the horizon line, right, we're going to see the top of it instead of the underneath side of it like we did here. So I'm going to find the top left corner, right, and I'm going to line it up with my RVP, the opposite vanishing point, and draw that across there. And then I'm going to find the top right corner, and I'm going to line it up with the LVP. And there is the top of the cube. So by knowing how to do these 3 forms on your surface, you now know how to draw everything in your cityscape, right? This could become a car, it could become a dumpster, it could become a mailbox, a table and chairs, anything you wanted, okay? So at this point, I want you to pause the video, and I want you to turn the paper over, and I want you to independently draw a cube above, on, and below the horizon line, just like I walked through you with, okay? And you can flip the paper over, or you can open the paper up and use this as reference while you draw in the second half here. So go ahead and do that now. The next video will have buildings and 2D objects.